Hello, CJ here. Welcome back to my test kitchen here in Ascala. Now, summer is in full swing here, and the city is gearing up for its annual summer solstice festival, Summer Moon. I've here Flame, the head of the Mages Only program at Royal University. Royal University is Ascala's leading academy of magic, and is located about one district east of here. How are things, Flame? Good. It's summer, so school's out. It's time for paperwork. I'd imagine it would be. Yes, in particular the notes you asked me to bring took a lot of paperwork. Well, I'm prepared to pay you a lunch after. Deal. I invited Flame here to speak about Ascala's history. The modern-day city you see before you hasn't always been here. So first, most people call Ascala the city at the center of creation. Why is that? Ascala is the largest and richest single city in the known world. We're a center of trade for 3 sectors of the astral. We are the most technologically advanced city ever built. We're also a democracy, which brings boats of immigrants on a weekly basis. These are good things. Yes, or I wouldn't live here either. It hasn't always been this well put together. The city, I mean. We've seen some rocky times in Ascala that we're eager to put behind us. Why don't you start at the beginning? How was the city founded? That is the first and probably the most important part of Ascala's history. A long time ago, this stretch of coastline had the same name, but there was no city here. Going back as far as our records go, and the northern coast was a loose collection of city-states, about 10 of them. City Vant wanted to unify them into a single empire, and it was more than willing to start any number of wars to see that happen. One of the cities just wouldn't have it. This was Ascala, the only of the 10 to have mastered electricity and rail transit. They wanted nothing to do with war, and they really didn't want their technology falling into the hands of warlords. That would be bad. So what did they do? They up and left. The tech princes who ran Ascala packed up everything they could carry, dismantled or destroyed all their generators, and scattered. It's called the scattering of Ascala. Some of them went east to Oiwan, which is still an independent city today, and has electricity thanks to Ascala. The rest made their way south. They crossed the interior, which back then was a fertile grassland, and reached the southern shores of the continent here. There they found House Wanda, another nation of humans. Wait, not everyone in this story is human? No. The other cities that united behind Vant were mostly Animalia, mostly lion folk. Oiwan are flower-colored wolf folk, Lupin, half-wolves. Despite the fact that most people on Ascala are human, there aren't many on the rest of the continent. House Wanda welcomed in Ascala. They were and still are deeply spiritual people, and they saw a great opportunity in Ascala's knowledge of electricity. They found Ascala, and the city grew fast. There's just one problem. They needed more people if their dream of an electrically powered city was to come true. This was in the earliest days of astral travel, and so they sent word by ship. They're all honest folk who welcome to come and settle in Ascala. Just for viewers' sake, Ascala is located on a flat planetoid in a nebula called the Astral. Once you're outside of its gravity, the physics of the astral take over. Ships and other large objects like islands and dragons float, the people sink. The air is breathable, but the sky is shimmering nebula mist, not blue. Thanks. The call for immigrants was better than expected. This was in the early days of astral travel, and the place between, as it's often called, was a dangerous place. It was gripped by warfare. The first and most costly of these wars was the Thandrian War. The first world to discover the astral was Anteli. They made first contact with a number of other worlds quickly and started the Astral Age. However, they weren't content with trade. They wanted an empire run of ships. This long ago, the Astral had no policing force. Today, the Guardians would have stopped a war on this scale, but back then they went forward as planned. Until they waged all out war with Thandria. Half of Anteli's people left in disgust over the actions of their leaders, and one-third of Thandria lost their homes. Both groups settled in Ascala. The city welcomed both sides in with open arms. Wait. So both halves of a war came here, met up, and cooperated? Yes. Isn't that a bit strange? Well, I never thought about that, really. It's such an old piece of our history. We welcomed in everyone who didn't want war. Here everyone is equal. With the abundance of skilled labor, we built the city fast. Now, these days, it's 21 districts with a ring of open field around each one for roadways and wind turbines. The wars in the north eventually burnt out the continent's coal and oil reserves and desertified the interior, so we've been on ethanol for fuel ever since. Now, I would like to say that everything went well after this period of growth, but that was not what happened. The city has faced challenges, and although we've learned some hard lessons, we learned them together. The original princes of Ascala passed on without children. Their work done. I do hope the gods are treating them right wherever they are. Now the city is ours, and we carry on their dream of a man-made paradise, fueled by technology. Thank you for them. That was well done. Good. What's for lunch? I was doing pizza. Good. That's it for now. Thank you for watching. I'll put a link in the description to some of my free products and books, should they interest you. CJ out.